There really is magic in the story of Harry Potter. It's been almost 15 years now since J.K. Rowling published that first Potter novel, and the world's been bewitched ever since. There have been 6 more books, 7 hit films, and a stupefying amount of merchandising. There's even a theme park devoted to all things Hogwarts. But now Harry is packing up his wand for good. I was in London to witness the final chapter.
I'll set the bloody place on fire!
He's back, but definitely for the last time.
What if any of our plans ever actually worked?
After more than a decade of frightfully close shaves,
I say we jump now!
the boy wizard Harry Potter and his friends Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger have finally made it to the happy ending. For the young actors who've grown up playing these roles, it's also, in a way, the end of a most unusual chapter.
On one hand, it's a very sad thing for it all to be coming to an end, but you know, it's all about timing your exit, and I think we've exited on the perfect note because it's the best film by such a long way that I think it's something we can all be very proud of.
Coming up to the last day, really, it was just this quite overwhelming feeling of kind of freedom, really.
You don't even know how to fly. What an idiot.
It's definitely pretty overwhelming to try and really process that this is over. It's been, I mean, I've spent more of my life being Hermione than I haven't.
Hermione Granger? Oh no. Okay, relax. Mental, that one.
Now 21, Emma Watson has played Hermione since she was 9. Back then, 12 years ago, clearly an innocent, unaware of the $7 billion blockbuster that lay ahead.
I'm just going to try and lead a normal life and keep close to family and friends.
Do you ever contemplate what life would have been like had you not done this?
I sometimes try to, but I can't. You know, it's gone back that far and it's been that big. This hasn't just been a job for me, this has been my life, really.
I'm Ron, by the way. Ron Weasley. I'm Harry Potter.
Rupert Grint, who plays Ron, was a cute, red-headed 11-year-old kid who looked the part.
That was bloody brilliant.
Oh, thank you for that.
Well, I always liked Ron. He was always my favourite character because I could relate to him because we both got red hair, we both like sweets.
Well, I did see an audition with another potential Ron, and I thought he was better actually. I probably would have picked him, but yeah, I feel very lucky.
You're a wizard, Harry.
And centre stage as Harry, young Daniel Radcliffe was the only one of the trio with any acting experience.
I can't be a wizard.
My dad then came upstairs and he said to me, he told me I had the part. And I just sat there like this for I don't know how long, and then I started to cry. It was such amazing news.
I think I was just very, very excited and thought of it all as a bit of a game. You know, I don't think I was taking it too seriously. I wasn't particularly thinking I would get it, so I was just there for a laugh.
So really. When you got it?
So when I got it, I was just dumbfounded, really. I don't know what to say. I mean, I think that was my treat after that was staying up half an hour later than normal and watching another episode of Fawlty Towers. That was the treat I gave myself that night.
The trio soon found themselves in a parallel universe, the magical world of Harry Potter. The boy wizard who, with his pals from Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, takes on the dark forces, personified by the evil Lord Voldemort.
It has everything that a good story should. It's complete escapism. It transports you to another universe, and it just covers on so many different themes and topics, and they're funny, but they have so much wisdom in them as well.
Welcome aboard the Hogwarts Express, all aboard!
If you've got kids who are into this stuff, you'll realise there's a lot to learn.
So are we excited?
Yes.
As I discovered back in 2003 with a young panel of literary critics. Even before the first movie came out, these kids were obsessed with what was then a new publishing phenomenon, the work of J.K. Rowling.
It's nice to know that, like, we're called muggles and things, and that we're actually muggles, and that there could actually be wizards right now flying over us.
Just like the actors, these young readers, Charlotte, Celia and Roman, have grown up and are on the threshold of adulthood, but still happy to be kids again for the final instalment of Harry Potter. The last book, the last movie, and now you've got to grow up.
Yeah, it definitely ended with the movie because I always knew that there was going to be movies. With the last book, you finish it, okay, there's going to be the movies. But now the movies ended, nothing else.
We're in a really lucky position because we're like the same age as Harry pretty much the whole way. So.
Well, we've literally grown up with them. They're the same age as us all throughout the movies. And whenever we see them, they're in the same sort of position as us in life.
It's an extraordinary achievement that the films have lasted so long.
Things British are back in vogue, obviously.
Jason Solomons is a film critic with Britain's Observer newspaper, and he's something of a professional Potter spotter, having closely followed the rise and rise of the boy wizard.
Audiences are fickle. Audiences change and grow up, and tastes change so quickly. But the audiences have stuck with it. That's what's extraordinary. The people that went to see Harry Potter in 2001 are desperate for the end in 2011.
Hello! How are you? Such an amazing support cast, some of the greatest actors in Britain. Was it an act of patriotism to be part of this film?
I think absolutely what's been successful about Harry Potter is its Britishness. In fact, looking at the final film, when they go back to Hogwarts, I was reminded what a castle, what a bastion, what a fortress it is. It's a fortress, yes, of wizards. It's a fortress of action, and we love it. But it's also a fortress of Britishness, if you like. There's no Americans in Hogwarts. Never has been.
Just a couple of days ago, the biggest film premiere ever brought the heart of London to a standstill as the royalty of British acting paraded on the red carpet. The end of a film era, and surely a time for Britain's younger stars to reflect.
It's been pretty full on. I mean, it's 8 films over 10 years. And so it's been just amazing, and I've loved it, and it's been,
Was it a better childhood or a worse one or just a different childhood?
It's a different one. You know, I mean, I wouldn't say it was any better than anybody's because that would be arrogant, but I certainly wouldn't say it was worse because I had the time of my life. I mean, I think there are a few places as fun for a 12-year-old kid to be in the world than on a film set. I mean, it's just a giant playground. It's
You're
fantastic.
growing up in a parallel universe.
You know, exactly, and that's the thing is that I don't, when people say, what was it like, what do you think your life would have been like without Potter? I was like, I have no idea. Probably quite dull. I really don't know what I would have been doing because this is all I've known.
The kids had the Midas touch. Emma and Ron are now worth about $35 million each, and Daniel about $70 million. Whatever will they spend it on?
Is it true that you bought an ice cream van?
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
What possessed you?
It's just something I've always wanted. When I was a kid, it's actually what I wanted to be originally, was to be an ice cream salesman. So yeah, and the vans were a big part of that.
Again, I'm old enough not to believe what I read, but you haven't bought a hovercraft, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only like a little one, but it's
yeah. A little one, how big?
It's like you can seat 4 people in it.
The list goes on, an ice skating rink.
Yeah.
That's not true too, is it?
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
All right, and the last one, some miniature donkeys.
Yeah, true, also true.
There's no danger of you growing up, is it?
Not for a while.
Rupert puts us all to shame. Rupert's got like a petting zoo and a car collection. I've got...
And a hovercraft.
And a hovercraft. I said to him, this is the way I found out he had a hovercraft. I said to him one day, Rupert, what did you do at the weekend? He said, oh, nothing really. Went out on the hovercraft. You did what? He said, because I had no idea he had one. But I mean, my only real kind of indulgences have been artwork. I've bought a few paintings that I've really liked and a few drawings that I really liked, but other than that, I just spend it on books and iTunes binging.
The kids were on a very fast train to fame and fortune. What were the dangers that they might go off the rails? One of the questions I guess that the three of you fend a lot is the stories of the Lindsay Lohan's classic Hollywood story of the child star who gets burnt. How do you assure that that doesn't happen?
I mean, I think you just have to keep your wits about you and you know, I think one of the things that hanging around with sensible, civilised people, which is what I have been fortunate enough to do because I've been on these sets.
And you're strict with yourself, aren't you? I mean, I read that you've put yourself off alcohol.
Yes,
That's quite a denial.
I have. Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. I mean, it was, you know, when I was 18 or 19, I started, you know, hitting it quite hard, as most people do at that age, and I suddenly realised that I was not as successful a drinker as all my other friends were and most of my peers were. So I just decided it had led to me being unhappy, and I'm not an unhappy person generally, but it did lead me to that, and so I stopped, and the last year has been just fantastic, and I've loved it.
What's an old head on young shoulders?
Well, that's what people have always said about me. You said it quite nicely. My friend says I'm an old man in a young person's husk, but I love my job so much, and I love what I get to do for a living so much. I would never want in any way to do anything that would jeopardise that.
Harry Potter, the boy who lived, come to die.
So, back to our young panel of film critics. They've grown up with the books and the movies, and time has not wearied them.
It was fantastic.
Pretty amazing.
Great. Yeah.
That's what you said last time.
They're always good.
I know, it's different though, because we're like 19 to 21 now, and for it to still be like that big a deal for us is pretty amazing.
It's the end of an era.
It's extraordinary for me because I've watched you lot grow up, and at the same time I've seen Harry Potter grow up too.
It's the same, really. We've grown up with them.
We're not as rich.
Yeah.
No. $2 million short.
Just a couple.
Billion.
I thought at the beginning it's a very silly thing for a grown man to be watching, but I got sucked in, just like you.
Yeah, definitely. It's not silly at all, though. People think that it's silly because it's fantasy and magic, and it's got that stigma attached to it that it's like a children's book, but it's not, and it shouldn't have it at all. It's for everyone, it's great.
We've seen them grow from cute kids to, let's face it, surprisingly level-headed, sensible young adults, notwithstanding a hovercraft or two. But now the time has come, and for a generation of kids, as for the actors themselves, it's time to let Harry go, isn't it? So if the writer said to you, actually, I'm thinking of doing another one, your immediate reaction?
My immediate reaction would be, well, that's not what you said a year ago, because I mean, I don't think she's going to write another one. I'd be stunned. I mean, I don't think there's really anything to add to Harry's story. I think it's a pretty full saga that he's got already.
Coming up. Get away from me! I want to go!
Stay here, Al! Stay here!
Acting lessons from Al Pacino.
Oh, it's so wonderful to see this transformation.
He's got why this Hollywood legend
Hello to my little friend!
Oh my God. What a line.
really is the best in the business.
I love acting. I need it.
That's next on 60 Minutes.